All right, good evening, everyone, on this wonderful Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. Welcome to everyone to our virtual open house for Port Royal Primary. There are some meeting rules that all Bermuda Public School virtual open houses are abiding by. Just keep your cameras on at all times. Thank you for displaying your full name and muting your mic during the presentation. You can use the chat function to ask questions. We are recording this meeting and hopefully it will make it to the Bermuda Public Schools YouTube channel. So several staff members are on board and we'll introduce them in just a minute. I am Joanne Dill. I'm the school principal. This is my 7th year at Port Royal Primary, and I think it is absolutely the best school on the island, and we really appreciate your interest in our school. So here's our school vision and our mission statements. Our school vision statement, we actually updated it this year, and it now states that all students are inspired and empowered to make a difference and achieve success in an ever-changing world. So we added the fact that we need to inspire children to make a difference. We really want to focus on that, having children understand how their actions, how their behaviors impact not only themselves, but everyone around them, and how they can make a difference in this world, how they can empower themselves and be responsible for having and creating success. Our mission is developing the whole child in a safe and nurturing environment. That is very important to us. And actively promoting student achievement and providing diverse learning experiences for students and our staff, which will enable each student to benefit from their educational journey. So here's our team. We have myself, Joanne Dill, principal, Mrs. Rollins, our deputy principal. She's also our primary 2 teacher. So you'll see her, and I'll ask everybody, I can't see you, but if you can just wave to everyone, you'll see Mrs. Rollins again on our lower school team board. There's our lower school team. We have Miss Correa, our P1 teacher. As I stated, Mrs. Rollins, P2. Mrs. Tucker is our P3 teacher, and our paraeducator, Ms. Stoneham. In upper school, we have 2 primary 4 teachers, Mrs. Simons and Ms. Morton. Our P5 teacher is Ms. Toda Francis, P6 teacher, Mrs. Eben, and paraeducator, Ms. Bell. For encore and intervention, we have Ms. Simons, art teacher, who's on with us tonight, Mrs. Outerbridge, music, Ms. McIntosh for PE and health. Our counselor, Mrs. Martinez, is on tonight. Mrs. Braithwaite, learning support, and Ms. Daniels, reading, are not able to join with us tonight. Some of you may have spoken to our admin assistant, Mrs. Souza. She's been at Port Royal forever. Some of you may know her. Mrs. McDowell is on with us tonight, ed therapist, and our 2 custodians, Smith and Mr. Rayner. So as I said, Port Royal, our mission is to create a safe and nurturing environment. And before I move on to that, I'm going to ask our PTA president, Ms. Renee Crockle, to just introduce herself and say a little something. She does have another Zoom to get to this evening.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Renee. I'm the current PTA president, and I have to agree with Ms. Dill that Port Royal is the best primary school in Bermuda. I have 3 sons at Port Royal, and we are enjoying the journey. Our PTA is Very active. COVID has, limited what we can do, but we're looking forward to moving forward and meeting some of you and having your children as part of our community. So I just wanted to say hi and potentially welcome you to our family.
Thanks, Ms. Crockwell. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us as you move on to your next Zoom.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night. All right, everyone. So our core values are be respectful, be responsible, be safe, and be ready to learn. The children learn these, they practice them, they understand what it means. They're able to give us examples of what they mean. And this is what we live every single day at school. Our school motto is aim high. And every year we change our school theme. And this year, our school theme is success under construction. And we've been talking to the children a lot about how success is built, how it doesn't come overnight. We have to work, we have to make goals, we have to make a plan. So we talk about this in assembly, we talk about this in class. Just the other day, I had to say to a student who was feeling a little down on themselves, is this success under construction? Are you going to get stuck or are you going to keep moving? So we try and make these words breathe and live for our students. Our success skills, we focus on the formative 5 success skills. This is a book study that the teachers and I participated in about 4 years ago. And we've noticed that since we have introduced these success skills, that our children really embrace them, and they are able to use them and understand how they impact their lives and how they will use them as they grow into adults. So each month we focus on one particular success skill, and they are empathy, self-control, grit, integrity, and embracing diversity. This month, we are focusing on integrity because we focused on the other 4 already. So now we're putting them all in place and understanding that integrity means that you are doing the right thing even when no one's watching. So you're doing the right thing just to do the right thing. So I'm going to ask our counselor, Mrs. Martinez, if she has anything she wants to add at this time.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our virtual open house and hope that you choose Port Royal to send your son or daughter to us. We, as Ms. Dill said, we are very concerned with the whole child. And we do put a lot of emphasis on academics, but we also want to make sure that they leave us as generally good people. So we do place a lot of emphasis on the success skills as well. I have been at Port Royal for 20-something years. And it is definitely a place that I feel very strongly about. And we have a great team. And I am proud to be associated with Port Royal and feel that should you choose Port Royal for your child, you certainly will be making an excellent choice. So I implore you to look closely, ask questions, anything you're unsure of, anything you want to know, please feel free to make an informed decision by getting as much information as you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez. So this is a typical school day, starting in the morning with morning routines, class meetings, attendance. Students are working on skill building from 9 to 10:10. They have lessons, which could be academic or encore. And I'll explain what that means in a few minutes. They'll have a fruit break. Right now, during their recess play and lunch and field play, we separate them. So the upper school goes down for half the time and they're in their own bubbles playing. And then we have the upper school. So we split them up so that we can keep them safe during this time of COVID. After recess, there's 90 minutes of more lessons, either academic or encore. They have lunch where they either eat outside on the lunch benches, weather permitting, and then they have the rest of the time as playtime on the field. And then the afternoon is more academic or encore lessons. You'll notice that there is a 3 p.m. finish for P1s and P2s. Mondays, we typically have assemblies. We have been learning how to have our virtual assemblies, and we usually start between 8:45, depending on what's going on, to 9 o'clock, and we don't go any more past a half hour. So academic or core lessons are math, reading, writing, word studies, science, social studies, and IT. And our encore lessons are art, music, PE, and health. So students will typically have one art lesson a week. We have a music lesson every week. They'll have 2 PE lessons and they'll have a health lesson. With PE, the students on the days, and you'll know in advance which days they have PE, they wear their PE clothes to school. So it might be different than what you might remember about school. They actually wear their gym kits to school, and then the other 3 days they wear their normal school uniform. So their school uniform is now year round. So the boys wear khaki bottoms, either shorts or pants, a white shirt, white button-down shirt with its school tie, and a navy blue sweater, if necessary. The girls will wear a navy blue skirt or gimp, same white button-down shirt with a tie under it and a navy sweater. So we'll have a little virtual school tour. And there you can see our sign, which you can see at number 6 Church Road. And that's our Panther Royal, who is our school mascot. There's the school entrance. And where you see the word hi, those are the entrances, the steps to the main office. So in the morning right now, we typically have this P6 students standing on the steps helping us with hand sanitizing. The school is not open to parents at this time, so you'll notice several signs on the door, but we do have a doorbell where if you need to, you can come ring the doorbell and Mrs. Souza or another staff member will open the door for you. And at the bottom right, you'll see where we have our temperature checks every morning. So this is the office area. The staff sign in the morning, the long hallway down to both sides of the building. We have a computer lab, which is upstairs. We have a school library. We have art room and music room. We have our assembly hall where children have PE, and once into phase 3, we're allowed to have our school assemblies in there, which is always wonderful. And there's the school field. So of course now with COVID, we typically have only one class at a time on the play equipment during the week, and the children have plenty of space, as you can see, to spread out and play. At Port Royal, we love to learn. So you can see children looking, they're listening, they're discussing with each other, they're sharing their work. We love to learn, we grow. We use hands-on learning, paper and pencil traditional learning, one-on-one as is necessary, and grow. And you can see pictures from classrooms where the teachers share what is happening in the classroom, different units, giving the children their success criteria, letting them know how they actually can meet mastery. And they grow their brains. So you can see they do all sorts of fun activities. And there's our paraeducator, Ms. Stoneham, with words all over her, where she was helping them learn how to label. We have different activities where we get to move around, have fun. And there's more times where we go on field trips. We have dress up days. When something that's become one of our traditions is having a kindness day in November. And the children go to the South Shore as well as Middle Road, and they share kindness signs with the passersby. So lots of fun things that inspire them to learn and to grow. So at this time, I'll stop. And if you have any specific questions at this time, don't be shy. Did I answer everything and you're well aware now? You know all about Port Royal? Ms. Robinson.
Hi, good evening. I was just curious as to how many students you accept into the P1 year level.
So every year that decision is made by the minister. And the past 2 years, we've had 16 and our P1 class has been full both times. So there's Miss Correa. I'll get her to wave her hand again. She's the P1 teacher.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And just sorry, one other. Do you? Oh, sorry. Do you introduce any foreign languages at any of the year levels yet?
We don't have any foreign language at this time. Hi, I see Lanisha. Do you have your hand up? Not sure. No? Any other questions, anybody?
Good evening. I have a question.
Hi, Mr. Silva.
As far as schools ends, now I live in Warwick. How does it work? Am I only allowed to apply for Warwick, Purvis and Herring Bay, or am I allowed to apply for Port Royal? How does that work?
So there are 3 zones for primary schools.
Okay.
Eastern zone, you have the central zone, which goes up as far as Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
The western zone is from Purvis Primary all the way west. So
Okay.
if you live in the western zone, you can apply to any of the schools in the western zone.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I just had a question in regards to
Hi, Ms. Thomas.
hi, how are you? In regards to after school care, because obviously P1's finishing at 3 o'clock. Is that something, I know each school is different, so I was just wondering if you could go into that, how long it lasts. Is it something that vultures or is it privatized?
Okay, so currently this year we have a private morning care, and Ms. Tota Francis, I'll get her to wave her hand. She does the morning care with another staff member, and they start at 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. Ms. Tota Francis, do you want to share anything else about the Panther Power Hour? You're good? What about the cost for parents?
Panther Power Hour is for that hour, as you said, and it's I believe it's $30 a week for part of the week. They do different things. They play puzzles, color, do it different cards and activities during the different seasons. And the children just relax and have fun and get ready for school in the morning. Okay.
Thank you. And so in addition, we also have an after-school program, which is run by the Department of Youth and Sports. So that might be the one that you've heard of that you'll need to register for with Department of Youth and Sports, not with the school. And there is a voucher. I believe it's 25, is it 25, $30?
That is also
$30 a week, yeah. And they do a multitude of different activities with the children. So if your child is in P1 or P2, we do organize staff members who will supervise them until the after-school program opens at 3:30. So Ms. Correa, can you kind of explain how that looks?
Sure. So from at 3 o'clock, the kids that are in pickup, they will go out to the steps to get picked up. And then the students that we call it supervision. So they get supervised from 3 to 3:25. And then at that time, we take them upstairs to after school care. So they're with us for that period of time.
Thank you. Mrs. Rollins, do you have something to add to that? You're good?
Not at this time, eh?
Okay, great. Thank
Sorry, I
you.
have a question.
Sure.
During the holidays, is there any camps available for kids? Like if there is a big school break for 2 weeks, is there like sort of a camp kids can assign for or not?
Yes, so typically the Department of Youth and Sports or different community services will have different camps for children, but it's not necessarily a Port Royal primary camp.
Okay, but we will get the information. It will be sort of like given to us.
Yes, and there tends to be groups of people that might share to parents a whole list of different camps and things, so you would have access to that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have two more questions.
Mhm.
With the school, with Port Royal potentially closing within the next few years, how would that affect the children that got placed there this year?
Well, as you may know, the Department of Education has shared that Port Royal is on the schools to be closed on the list. So it's, we're transparent about that. However, at this time, we don't know when that may happen.
Okay.
I've said starting in 2023, and it could be a 5-year process. So it could be up to another 6 years or so.
Oh, okay, okay.
When that happens.
Okay.
Right now, I don't have any answers for you about what that would look like. I'm sure there would be transition plans made, the schools within the zone, whether or not parents would have a choice of 1 or 2 of the schools within the zone, but yeah.
Okay, and also, what programs do you have in place for children coming in that already know how to read and write and subtract and add, coming into P1?
So when we talked earlier, we talked a lot about children being a whole person, right? So we don't want for children, because very often if children are academically accelerated, right? Sometimes socially, they're not as caught up. So we don't spend all our time focused on that. We get them in, we get them focused on how to create a new community, because for many of them, they're coming from a preschool environment, which is typically half the size of a primary school classroom. So they've got to learn to split their attention with a teacher who's now not dealing with 8 children, dealing with 16, sometimes 18 children. So they're learning how to take turns. They're learning how to become more independent. So there's a lot of skills that we focus on in the first few weeks while the teacher is actually identifying which needs each child has academically. And then we provide them with reading materials that are appropriate to their reading level. And just, it's called in education, we call it differentiation. So we provide the children with what they need. But it is really, really important to focus on the child as a whole person and those social skills.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question.
Mhm.
With regards to homework and such like that, what would a typical homework schedule look like for the P1 level?
Okay, I'm going to ask our deputy, Mrs. Rollins, to talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so with homework, there's usually typically reading every night, say about 15 minutes of reading and about 15 minutes of homework, if it's required. It's not something it's not heavy and definitely not at the P1 level. But I'm sure Miss Correa could you speak to that also, Miss Correa, in P1? I know that, like I said, homework is reading, probably working on their handwriting and letter sounds and those sorts of things. Ms. Correa, would you add to that?
Sure, I can definitely add to that. So in P1, we focus a lot on social skills as well and developing the skills that they're learning and practicing them. And so what I do is I've done it for a couple years. It's called home play, choice boards. And so every month I give you a choice board. There's lots of different activities that you can choose from that they can focus on throughout the week, throughout the month, sorry. And we use Class Dojo, which is a really cool app that we use for communication and sharing information. And it also has a student portfolio section to it where they can post what they're doing, activities they're doing, videos, pictures, text, drawings, and whatnot. And so I can see what they're doing at home through that. It starts to change a little bit towards the end of second term and third term, where they're going to start getting spelling words to practice at home. But those are very short activities that they do just to practice those skills that they're learning. But yeah, I tend to, my belief is not with traditional homework. I'm definitely more of a play-based teacher, especially at this age. So that's kind of the avenue that I've gone with little people.
And so it's not that our students aren't learning what other students are learning. It's just timing. So we may focus more on play at the beginning, learning how to actually navigate a school and classroom environment before we add too much work onto them. And just remember, school is your child's work. And most of us don't want to take work home. Teachers, it's just part of our life. However, we don't want to overload them, and we definitely don't want to overload you. Any other questions? All right, well, as you don't have any more questions, if you think of anything, feel free to reach out to school. Most of you know how to get in contact with us. Just you can call the school 478-3313. You can email me, jdill1@moed.bm. Can you just raise your hand and let me know whether you've been able to go onto our school website? There's lots of information there. You can see some of the pictures of activities that we've done in the past, and lots of information that's available to you. All right, well, it was lovely to meet all of you. We're very happy that you have had an interest in our school. We look forward to hopefully seeing you as potential parents at Port Royal for September. And hopefully, if the phases adjust, I might be able to offer an outdoor tour of the school. Right now, Definitely not indoor, but at least outdoor so you could see the space. All right. So thank you everyone for coming.